We got a new Warbond incoming with some incredible looking weapons, with an absolutely insane looking hover pack, jet pack, whatever you want to call it. We're going to break down this trailer in depth. Then we're also going to break down the patch notes, and there's some interesting changes there as well. I made sure to add the timestamps for everything, so let's get right into it. Okay, let's watch it. The first time I'm not going to touch the trailer, then we're going to break it more in depth. Let's go for it. So this Warbond is a more Western kind of theme. Do you know what I mean? Let's go. It's a laser pistol. It's going to depend. This weapon is super interesting to me right here. Like the armor on the right. But this right here, woo, look at this. Look at this. A hover pack, dude. Look at that, bro. Do you understand the playstyles this is going to unlock? That's going to be incredible. I can't wait to break all of this down right here with you guys. We also have a new grenade. Probably acts more like a C4. Okay, now we're gonna break down the weapons, the new jetpack, everything, okay? I'm very excited for this Warbond, man. Very excited because this could be really cool. This one is the first one is the plasma pistol. And yeah, we don't know much about it in terms of damage. Is it really going to be something that you're going to be running 24/7 on the highest difficulty? Probably not, because we have some absolutely insane tools. That said, maybe it also has, you know, heavy damage like the other pistols, right? We don't know if it does have heavy damage, and the ammo economy can be controlled way better. Then we're talking. We're going to have to look at that. We're going to be testing all of this when the Warbond comes out. We're going to be testing it live as well, so make sure to be there. Then we have the Deadeye Sniper, or should I say marksman rifle. This is the gun that I'm really excited about, because in video games, marksman rifles are always some of my favorite type of weapons. Now, this is also going to depend, right? Because if this is just a light pen, you're not going to be using it. Unfortunately, you're not. We know that it's like single fire and then you reload, which means that the fire rate compared to some of the other powerful weapons in the game is not going to be that high. Most likely, it's not an energy weapon. At least it doesn't look like one. So what does it need? Well, it needs a medium pen or above. Even heavy pen to some extent would be nice, okay? And that would make this weapon very interesting. And obviously the damage has to be there as well. Now, I'm not saying heavy pen in terms of, oh my God, you want to one-shot a Bile Titan? No. I don't think that would be smart to do. But there has to be a reason to use this weapon, especially because it's a marksman rifle. And when you're playing the bugs or the Illuminates, they're just better options. Now, can you use the counter sniper? Absolutely. But is it the best pick? Not really, right? So hopefully it at least has a medium pen as mentioned, because if it doesn't, and if it's a light pen, it's going to be a tough sell 100%. And it's going to be a bummer because it looks visually incredible. Then we have the armors, and I like both of them. I like the right one more. That's more of my style, but the left one is also pretty cool. I hope that in the future we get to customize our capes to just match different colors and whatnot. But overall, I actually really like the right armor. I think it's pretty cool. Now, depending on what the perks are going to be, that's going to be very interesting. We're going to break down all of that when it comes out. Here's the Western style, right? Slow-mos. And this is where it gets insane. This is the hover pack. Now, this is going to be so much fun to use when you're going to be playing on the bug side. Just think about that, right? Like, you're going to hover in the air. Now, think about using a flamethrower and burning everything below you. And this is where it's going to be very, very interesting how this thing functions. Now, one thing that we can notice here is the energy bar. And you see that it's going down pretty quickly, okay? Just pay attention to that. Like 1, 2, 3. Probably you're going to be able to hover, I would say, around 7 to 10 seconds. Maybe it's more. Which, if it is around 10 seconds, guys, that is a lot of time. However, the question is going to be, how easy is it to control it? Because let's say you fly up with this hover pack, and then you can't really kind of pick to hover a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left. What I'm trying to say is if you get stuck in one spot exactly, and there's bugs below you, and you're taking them out, and then you drop exactly in the middle of the bugs, you're kind of cooked. You know what I mean? So that's going to be interesting. Also, if my voice sounds different, guys, it's because I think I like caught some kind of cold or whatever. So my apologies, but it is what it is, right? I'm very excited about this item specifically. The reason I mentioned bugs with this item is that, like, are you really going to be floating in the air against the bots and not moving? You know what I mean? You are going to get annihilated. And it can be very dangerous against the Illuminates as well if you're around tripods or whatnot. So I don't think this is going to be the best pick against those guys. However, that said, against the bugs, this opens up a completely new playstyle, and we're going to be looking into some incredible loadouts moving forward. I'm super excited about this one. Like, this is hands down my favorite item. The reason I'm literally thinking that this Warbond is going to be worth it no matter what, okay? 100%. Then we have the Dynamite. So this is also going to be interesting. We got to look at the damage numbers when we're going to test this, how long it takes to, you know, explode and so on. Now, this is coming out on March the 20th. Once again, we're going to be live streaming it. We are going to be testing every single item against all enemies live on stream. Make sure to be there. It's going to be a freaking awesome time. Now, let's jump into the patch notes, and I'm going to break down everything for you guys, and I'm going to tell you guys my opinions on all of it. Okay, let's go into the balancing, and I think you guys are going to find that there's some really interesting stuff in here, but there's also stuff that, you know, it's not going to change much. And speaking of not changing much, let's talk about the Reprimand. That's the first change we're going to take a look at. And the spread is decreased from 50 to 40. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I still don't understand why Reprimand has so much more spread compared to other weapons. I don't feel like Reprimand has that ability to be overpowered, and I don't think it should be feared in terms of like just dropping the spread lower, because this is way higher than most weapons in the game anyway. So all it really does is make it just annoying to use. Okay, that's about it. The Slugger, one of the fan favorites back in the day, caught a buff. Now, this is a pretty funny one because the spread got decreased from 20 to 6. Now, for all the people that don't remember, I believe that this used to be 5 before it got nerfed. Now it's 6. I mean, they could have just brought it back to 5, but 6 is gonna feel fine, I guess. There's almost no difference, right? 5, 6, it's gonna be pretty close to how it felt at the beginning. And on top of that, the damage has been increased from 250 to 280. So this is a cool change regardless. I'm happy they did this. So we're going to take this into the game and test this today as well. Then we have the Liberator Concussive. Fire rate increased from 320 to 400. This weapon, guys, this can be a banger now. Now we have to check this, right? And see how it feels. But on paper, that's a pretty massive increase in fire rate. And it could make this weapon finally feel a little better to the point that it's actually worth using on the highest difficulty of the game. So we are going to be testing that as well. Diligence magazine capacity increased from 20 to 25. Pretty cool change. Am I still going to be using Diligence, the normal one? Not that often, but for people that really enjoy it, that is a nice change because ammo economy in this game is always a problem. Then we have the Knight SMG, STA, and Defender and Pummeler changes. The first ones I'm going to talk about is Knight SMG and STA and Defender, which is they all got an increase by 5 damage. Now, do I think that is going to be enough for me to use the Knight SMG? No. The reason for that for Knight is that it just burns through ammo really fast. And yes, even though that's a 5 damage increase, it's not really going to change a lot of breakpoints, whatever. But what it is going to do, though, for these SMGs is it's going to help with the drop-off, obviously. So they are going to feel better. But none of these changes are going to make you, use these weapons more specifically at the moment. I do think that the reason we see these tiny changes is literally because they're probably planning something with the weapon customization. This is just my thoughts on it, but I truly believe that. So if some people are going to be like, oh, this is trash, whatever, keep that in mind. Once you keep that in mind, it all kind of makes sense to me why they're being so careful, because they know that the weapon customization is coming up whenever it's going to be 2 months, 3 months, and they don't want to go crazy on this. Okay, So that is something to keep in mind. Now, then we have the Pummeler, also gets the damage increase from 75 to 80, but now requires less shots to apply stun on applicable targets. Stun value increased from 1 to 1.25 per bullet. I think what this weapon really needed was the increase of stun duration. If it's me, that's what I would do. I wouldn't make it like 4 seconds or anything. The buildup of stun being faster, though, is pretty cool. I don't mind it at all. I think it's a nice addition regardless. Obviously, it's going to help, but I think the duration of the stun would feel nice. And then we have the AR-23 Liberator, damage increased from 70 to 80. This is also cool, but as I said, keep in mind the weapon customization when you're thinking about ARs, because when it comes to ARs, I think the biggest thing is ammo economy, even more so than damage currently. And speaking of them, we're going to talk about the STA-52, the Adjudicator, and the Tenderizer. And this is going to be very fun to test because Tenderizer's damage went to 105 from 95. And this right there, this could be very cool. But once again, we got to test these things out. I still think that even though I really am happy about this change, I think that the Tenderizer, this is a great change regardless how you look at it. But I think the ammo economy is a bigger issue than the damage. I'm not saying the damage buffs are bad. They're great. I don't mind them at all. Don't get me wrong. But once again, I say that and then I think to myself, they're not doing it because weapon customization is coming and you're probably going to be able to add some drum mags or whatever crazy shit to the ARs, and it's going to make them feel so much more fun. Imagine like the Tenderizer, 105 damage with a drum mag. You just going nuts, just mowing down the bugs or whatever. That's going to feel so much fun, especially when you have a lot of them chasing you down, right? Now, is this change currently going to make me use the Adjudicator with only 5 damage increase? Definitely not myself. I think that any of these assault rifles, if you're running it, you have to run the supply backpack. Now, the problem with that is if I'm running supply backpack, I just have better options such as Scorcher, the Incendiary Shotgun, and so on. Both of those weapons not only deal damage, but one of them deals energy damage and has explosive damage. And on top of that, the Incendiary Shotgun has incendiary damage as well, so it burns the enemies. So there's just better options even when you think about these weapons in combination with the supply backpack, because supply backpack just makes all the weapons better. So if you combine it with the already incredible weapons in the game, it makes sense that those are going to be better choices, right? That said, Tenderizer, this is a big increase in damage and it's going to be very interesting. Then we have the Eruptor, projectile armor penetration increased from medium 3 to heavy 4. This is funny because like when I read this, I was like, let's go. But then, yeah, I remembered that this is only projectile armor penetration and it's not going to affect anything else. So we're going to have to test this exactly how it feels. I don't think the projectile itself does enough damage for you to be like, okay, this is going to be my heavy killer now. I don't think it's probably meant to be a heavy killer, but we'll see how this one feels in game. So keep in mind, this is not like a shrapnel buff. Don't get it twisted. A lot of people might get too excited about it and think it's a shrapnel buff as well. It's not. It's only the projectile. And then we have the projectile lifetime increase from 0.7 to 1 second. This, by my understanding, means that you can just shoot further, right? And then it's gonna explode. I believe it explodes. Let's say if it explodes at 100 meters, now it's gonna explode further, which is a cool, thing to have on the weapon. The further you can shoot, the better, obviously, the less annoying it's going to be. Then we have the Stratagems. Eagle 110 rockets uses increased from 2 to 3. I always welcome these kind of changes. That said, I wish the Eagle 110s would kill, for example, chargers, right? That said, we are still going to test this and we might use it as a really cool combo with some weapons to speed up the charger kills with some primaries or even support weapons, which is going to be really cool to test. And then we have the exosuit buffs, which is increased from 2 to 3. I mean, welcome change, but I do believe that the cooldowns on these are very high. That's the main problem right now. I don't think the problem has been, the fact that you can't use it more than 2 times. That said, it's a cool addition. Don't get me wrong. So I'm grateful for this. And the thing is, right now, people just rush through missions. A lot of people, right? So even if you're in a 40-minute mission, because people have mastered the game so well, it doesn't even last over sometimes 15 minutes. So are you really going to be utilizing the 3? Sometimes, I'm guessing. So that's going to be fun. But I just wish that it had a lower cooldown, maybe a little bit, so we can just have more fun with these. But yeah, this is a welcome change nonetheless. Sterilizer ergonomics increased from 5 to 20. This is going to be interesting. I don't know how much this is going to increase the usage rate of the sterilizer, because there's just so much better options in the game. The rover, the gas grenades, and now the gas mines as well. And sterilizer just doesn't do enough. It's super fun weapon. Like you guys know, crowd control weapons, and especially the ones that have dot damage, are my favorite thing within the game. But do I think the sterilizer is going to be like top tier after this change? I do not think so. Now this though, Stalwart increased damage from 70 to 80 is wild. This is going to make this weapon so good. And don't get me wrong, it is already incredible. But now with this damage increase, we're going to be testing this. I think this is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And then on the heavy machine gun, it says improved armor penetration across a wider range of angles before transitioning to glancing shots. Honestly, I don't know exactly how to interpret this. I don't know what this is gonna feel like in the game. There's no numbers put out here. So then we also have enemy changes, an update to the automaton situational awareness protocol. They are now less distracted by each other, increasing their reaction speed in large groups. It's gonna be crazy. We've increased the number of AI calculations the game can perform. This primarily impacts scenarios with a high number of spawned enemies, improving their response times in those situations. However, this comes with a slight trade-off in-game performance. Let's hope that the in-game performance isn't something crazy here, okay? And then we have automaton dropships main body health increased from 2,500 to 3,500. Illuminate dropships utilizes the same shield as the ones that have landed. Barrage tank turret resolved an issue introduced recently where the armor value was incorrectly set to 0. Now has the correct armor value of 5. Additionally, the turret now features weak spots at the front and back, each with 750 HP and an armor value of 3. So I always like when they add weak spots. It adds to the gameplay in terms of like skill and knowing your enemy. So that's pretty cool. But that's the patch notes. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Now, we are going to be testing all of this live. I'm most likely live at the moment as you're reading and watching this video. So make sure to hop in. As always, stay positive, stay disciplined, and I'll see you all on the next one.